And good day. Thanks for joining us. I am Tamara Scott. We appreciate you tuning in, listening up, being involved, paying attention, making a difference. We are here with Truth for Our Time, and I'm a little bit more casual today. I'm looking at myself in the monitor. I look like the abominable snowman. It's a big, huge sweater, Ryan. But I just wanted to enjoy myself today. I'm a little bit casual because my guest in studio is one of those fly by the seat of his pants, have fun guy, creative, and always on the go. You know, as soon as I say this, you're all going to go, yeah, that's right. Dave Davison, you recognize that name with Picture Perfect You, Presography. Golly, I'm trying to think back. I think the first time I learned the name Dave Davison, I interviewed Dan Davison on a book. It wasn't Survivor Island, it was Surviving Temptation Island. Surviving Temptation Island. Little did I know, here I am interviewing Dan Davison out of, I don't know, Virginia or somewhere. And little did I know, the co-author, Dave Davison, was 26 miles from me, right here in Des Moines. And so that was years later that I realized you were part of that team. So Dave's in studio. He's going to join me a little bit later. First, I'm going to talk with Christel Swasey, Christel Lane Swasey. Christel, you recognize that name on Common Core. She is in the book that I've quoted from several times, written by Corley Orlean. That book is The Trojan Horse of Common Core, The Trojan Horse. And if you want that book, if you're in Iowa, we can get that book to you fairly easily. You can also order them, and I'll help you get that. It's online. I would suggest you do that. There are several good books that we promote on this show. The other one is The Cult of Common Core, Brad McQueen, another good book. And so we'll be talking with Christel because something I've been saying on this show, you know, you do this show, and you've got several people taking pot shots at you every chance they get. And you learn just to ignore those folks. And you try and get good information in the hands of people, and sometimes you think, is anybody else listening? Is it just me in this room talking into the air? And then you also wonder, am I giving people good information? You know, are they plugging it in? Are they truly getting it? And when people start catching on and more people start talking about it, it gives you that little bit of encouragement to keep going. We were talking about this a long time ago, federal overreach. Common Core is more than just another bad education reform. It is federal overreach. And my guest, Christel Lane Swasey, has been involved in this for some time. I've read her name for years, but I've not had to pronounce it, so I'm going to have to catch myself. She's been involved in this for years early on in the Common Core battle, and we'll be talking with her. But she has written most recently about the overreach where the executive branch, the Department Secretary of Education, and I think this one is judicial. We'll talk about her. We'll talk with that when we bring her on after the break. But phasing out the state authority. They are working to phase out state authority. When we were saying that you will lose local control, I guess they're proving us right. You won't just lose local control. They're phasing out state authority. And so we'll be talking with her a little bit later. We're going to go to a break right now so we can thank our sponsors, so you can hear from our sponsors. And my thanks to Christians for America and for Webcast One Studios. We are live out of Webcast One Studios. We thank them for their ability to help us get news to you. So we'll be right back after these messages with Tamara Scott Live and more Truth for Our Time. Stay tuned.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can give these grandkids back, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We can help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hey, psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places. Especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, reliable, trustworthy. It's AMCO on Hickman Road in front of Kmart. And it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give Amco on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent you.
And thanks for staying tuned. I am Tamara Scott. We're bringing you truth for our time. Here's the deal. No matter what the issue is, the topic, if God expects you to live through it, He's directed you how to do it in His Word. And we can always help you find good, honest information and the best way to tackle some of these issues. We're talking today about Common Core, and then we'll have Dave Davison joining us as well in studio. He is here. We appreciate him taking time out. He's been busy. Dave, have you been flying around the nation?
Well, my wings are tired. But no, I have not been flying. I've been around Des Moines lately, pacing myself for this upcoming big presidential election cycle in Iowa.
And
I've been laying low, not like you.
We're talking with the founder of Presography, another new word from the Davidson Dictionary, Presography, and he is the noted photographer that many want when they come to town, because he doesn't take a bad picture, but he takes a lot of fun and unique pictures that end up all over the nation and the globe, actually. So we'll be talking to him shortly. Christel Swasey has been writing about Common Core, and I want to talk to her. She's got a background in education, so she's very fitting, very qualified to talk about this discussion. What I am going to bring up today is the topic, and Ryan, I don't know if you can put that on our website, because I don't see it. I don't see my chat line today, but if you want to go ahead and post that for our folks, and go ahead and post the other link as well on the I sent you two links, but let's talk about the first one, where the department I think I just took that one out. It is one of those going to be one of those fun days. Secretary Ernie Duncan is putting new regulations out. So since I can't seem to talk, I'm just going to bring on the guest and let her talk. Christel, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's one of those days I'm having trouble putting words together, so I'll just get the microphone to you right away. But this latest blog that you wrote that I want to talk about, the Federal Secretary of Education's phasing out authority of the states. First off, tell us, how long have you been writing about Common Core?
I started writing about Common Core about 2.5 years ago, when some neighbors of mine introduced me to the concept, and the more I studied it, the more alarmed I became, and I thought I should be sharing the things that I'm researching, because chances are other people are not going to be doing this much in-depth research. And so I just started a blog. I called it What is Common Core? And it's just become really big, and I have written so many things on there that sometimes I read things and I can't even remember them, and I'm learning things that I forgot that I knew.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm not the only one.
Yeah. So it's a huge education reform is just such a monstrous problem right now, and most people don't even know that it even exists. So I'm more than happy to talk about it, write about it, and try to help people understand what's going on.
Well, I've quoted you often on this show. Never even having talked to you, I had quoted you often because you are in Orleen Coley's book. I think I said her name wrong earlier, Orleen Coley. She's written the book, The Trojan Horse, and she quotes you as talking about the literature that we will lose 50% of our classics, virtually lose 50% of our classics with the Common Core literature program.
Yes, that is one of the alarming things, is that Common Core just arbitrarily follows the vision of David Coleman, who wrote the English Language Arts Standards, and he just feels that informational text belongs in the English classroom, and that there shouldn't be as much emphasis placed on imaginative literature or classic literature. So whether you agree or disagree with that, it's been a huge fight in this nation. I completely disagree, but I think a more important issue than that argument is the fact that we don't get a say in these standards, because they are copyrighted by the National Governors Association and the Council of Chief State School Officers. And so those who are governed by these new standards don't get to amend them. They don't get to change them. And whether or not they're good is not as important as who controls them. And that's why I call Common Core unconstitutional, because the people who are governed by them don't get to have a say.
So that's a great,
alarming to me.
Great point, because every so often we do hear from somebody who wants to promote something they like about Common Core. And you're absolutely right. Like it or dislike it, the control needs to be with the local community, at least with the states. And we lose that with the Common Core. And Christel, thank you for agreeing to come back and spend more time with me on a whole show. But today we're going to talk briefly about this latest move. This is fairly straightforward and fairly bold, extremely bold. The executive branch is, did they say they're going to phase out the authority of the states, or did you just pick that up out of their latest executive order?
Well, if you go to, I have the link on my blog, but you could even just Google the words, to phase out the authority of states to define modified academic achievement standards and develop alternate assessments based on those modified academic achievement standards in order to satisfy ESEA accountability requirements. Then it says the amendments will permit, as a transitional measure, states that meet certain criteria to continue to administer alternate assessments for a limited period of time. So they actually use, in these new regulations that just came out of the White House, Secretary of Education Arne Duncan's section of the White House, they're actually saying we are going to phase out the authority of states. And in plain English, they want to phase out the authority of states to decide what special ed kids will learn and how they'll be tested. And so I've had some people saying, well, who cares? That's just the special ed kids. That's a small segment. Well, I say I absolutely care. What difference does it make if they want to phase out how we test our special needs children versus how we test all the other children? A child is a child, and local control and freedom is local control and freedom. And I just find it alarming that they're so bold that they would actually use the phrase phasing out the authority of states and saying that certain states, if you meet criteria set out by the Department of Education for a limited period of time, will let you do your own assessments for these kids. But pretty soon, we're going to tell you exactly how to test the special needs children. And it's just outrageous that this is happening and that so few people know about it and that so few people are fighting it. The exact same phrase, phasing out, also comes in the Obama's Connect Ed initiative. If you go to the White House and read that Connect Ed fact sheet, they are saying that they're so enamored with technology, and of course we all agree that technology is a wonderful thing, but the way that they're using it, they're actually phasing out textbooks. They say that America is behind. We need to be like South Korea. South Korea will have phased out all textbooks for their school system by 2016, and they act as if that's something that we should aspire to in America. So I just feel like the phasing out of everything that's good and replacing it with whatever Obama and Secretary Duncan feel is good, really at the very worst, it's completely unconstitutional.
And I appreciate you talking about that. And we have been talking about the phasing out of textbooks here on this show. Gosh, I think back in 2008, 2 studios ago, we were talking about that. So you're absolutely right that it's several things working together. When I hear you talking about the White House labeling, and they're not the only ones who do it, but to set people in groups and to label certain segments of people, special needs, we've kind of all become comfortable with that to our demise, I think, because even as a special ed student, that's my phone. I have to apologize. You'd think I'd learn and shut it off. Dave Davidson's laughing at me over here. Even as a special ed student, there are ways you can test that there be gifts there for somebody else that would. To label them all as that they all deserve the same test or they all deserve the same testing, you can have learning disabilities and still be brilliant in another area. And it really concerns me that they're going to limit these kids and label them. And then I have to say, Christel, just coming out of Auschwitz and Birkenau just less than 3 weeks ago, everything I do right now is filtered. And I try to balance that. But everything I do right now is filtered. And to start with a group of kids or a group of society and say, this is only for this group, and knowing that Americans will then allow it, so we become comfortable with it till the whole group is under that rule, is a real concern for me right now.
Yes, I agree. Something that really, really troubles me is that people seem to think that if the argument is strong enough, for example, some people say that our American education system is so terrible that Common Core is something that we should do, even if it's unconstitutional. And for one thing, I don't believe that our American system of education is so terrible, because if that were true, why were other nations' students flocking to our universities, and why are we number one in all kinds of innovations and have been forever? So I don't believe that our system is that terrible, but the argument is being pushed that our nation is in an educational crisis and Common Core is going to save us. And it's absolutely the opposite of what the truth is. I feel that if people just even try, just slightly educate themselves on what Common Core really is, who controls it, how it's amended, what it really truly does, they'll be against it. It's just that most people don't take the time, and they just listen to what the Chamber of Commerce or their local state office of education has to say, and they hear their version of it, and that's as far as it goes. And that's why we don't have enough people really standing against it.
So, Christel, if people want to follow you, read your blog, how do they get a hold of you?
The blog is whatiscommoncore.wordpress.com, and I usually tweet just whatever I've been blogging about. And also Utahns Against Common Core is another place where I do a lot of writing. And I just hope that people will take the time to really study these things and to find out for themselves by looking at the original source documents what's really going on to education and how it will affect our children and our freedom.
And to follow Christel on Twitter, it is 212 at 212. Christel is spelled Christel.
Yes.
212 Christel. Christel, thank you for taking time out just to update us on this latest overreach and unconstitutional grab. And I do appreciate the fact we'll plan on doing a show with you in January.
Thank you.
You have a blessed holiday.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks. All right. That's Christel Lane Swasey, Swasey. Christel is Christel, and Lane Swasey, Swasey. And again, the book where I first read about her is Orlean Corley's book, Kohle, and that is The Trojan Horse, Common Core of the Trojan Horse.